Hi everybody, this is a quick video on making sure your font and all that goes along with it is set up correctly. I'll also show you something on Word where whatever you're looking at, there's always going to be something that's gray on your paper if you have a page number, and I'll explain that. And I'll also give you an example of definitions and how you can or possibly shouldn't use them in a paper. So let's put all this together. In my other mythology class, we're looking around, and this article showed up. Men are obsolete. Now, just imagine, what would you call a man who said women are worthless? What would you say, right? Context. But here, Time Magazine, 5 years ago, it's totally okay. What does obsolete mean? It's fine for Hannah to say men are worthless, obsolete, unnecessary. So, okay, and hey, everybody gets to think and feel what they want. This is America, by gum. Now, in this, and here's how definitions matter. But look at this. They're having a debate. There's actually an interesting book between her and another person arguing about the obsolescence of men, and two others, including Camille Paglia, who I like a lot, actually saying, hey, men are useful. But in this, check this out. In order to win the debate, and I think she's 100% right here, we have to prove that men, as we've historically come to define them, are entitled to power, destined for leadership, arrogant, and confused by anything that isn't them. Wow. Have we historically decided this is what it means to be a man? Now, I admit to not wanting to ask directions, but I would challenge her or anybody else that I'm not sure that you could say this is historically what it means to be a man. It might be historically what it means to be for some men, but there's a lot in this that I think you could question. Anyways, that's definitional. And check this out. If you say this is what it means to be a man, then people will buy into it, right? And actually agree that yes, out of the 150 men in America, all of them are born and entitled to power, right? What happens if people buy into that? They will, of course, ignore all the men who people would argue maybe don't have power, that are making minimum wage, right? That are doing all of these jobs that most of us don't want to do. But if you agree with that definition, bam, it's already a slam dunk that her ideas are going to make sense. So when you define something, right, it actually gives you a lot of control over the argument. And then you get to decide how well you want to define something. I have a problem with we've historically come to decide that this is what it means to be a man. I think many other Americans would agree with me that we're not all on board with this definition. But America, she gets to do what she wants. So I went to Citation Machine. And this is so nice. Check this out. It's a website. I go back to Men Are Obsolete. Copy it. Go back here. Right. I'm going to search the websites. I already did this, so I know this is going to work. Yep, that's the one that I want. We found data for. Yep, sorry. Final step. And let's get the citation. All right. It's given us multiple, actually, because I've done it. Now, copy. So let's go to, actually, I'm going to open up a new one. And I pasted it in here. No, one of the things that happens, of course, I want to look. Is it last name, article, last name, title? Look, there's the magazine. Articles are in quote, small, in quotes, the bigger container in italics, right? Coming from Time, there's the Time, there's the website. Looks good. Now, I've done a lot of time with this, so a couple things. Already, if you look up here, it's Calibre 11. Well, MLA, Times New Roman 12. So I'm just going to Control A, right? Oh, it wants to be 12. Go to Times New Roman. Now, as long as I've got Control A, I'm going to go to paragraph. And this is because it had an 8. So let's make sure it's a 0. go to double. Now this document is set up and you're not going to have weird spacing. If it looks good to you and I said your spacing's off, then most likely when you go to paragraph, you're going to see an 8 there instead of a 0, which is the MLA default. Okay, so now I'm going to move it down one. Right, I want my works cited right in the middle. And because I've done this a while, man, this looks a little gray to me. So how do I find out? I'm going to highlight this kind of halfway through and double check and put it in there. And can you see that slightest difference between this is darker gray, this is black, and this is gray? Sometimes the cut and paste is much more subdued too. So go ahead, Control A, right? This is the easiest way. Just make sure it's all black. Right? And the reason that you want to do that is because when you cut and paste stuff in from an article and all of a sudden we're reading your paper and it starts shifting colors, it doesn't look professional. So easiest thing, Control All, let's just have it black. Font, Times New Roman, and why did you drop to 11? Oh, okay, good. Oh, look at this. You see down here, I'm circling that, and that's 11. Actually, it should be 12. Word wants to do a word thing. You're trying to do an MLA or an APA thing. So sometimes you're just going to have to fight with it. Now, when you put in your page number, right, and then I go to Insert, Page Number, Top of Page. And I know most of you are doing this, but it's still tricky for some. So, last name, one space only. Now you're set. So check this out. Black, gray. That's because it's saying, hey, here's the only stuff you're dealing with. If you click down here, you'll notice that's gray up here. It is not going to be gray when it prints. It is only because you're down in here, right? So that's on the grayness. Also, right, whenever you cut and paste things, just assume it's not going to be in the right Times New Roman. It's not going to be in the right size. Good chance it's not going to be in the right color. So, and you can wait till you're all the way done, do a Control A, and then just make sure everything lines up, right? Including the paragraph, which should be 0, 0, double. One other thing. Here's my beef with the argument. You basically created a straw man, right? And the straw man is when you set up the other side to be an empty scarecrow, right? That you can easily dismantle. If you're going to say that's what men are, who the hell would want men around, right? And there it is. And is that definition fair? You might think it's fair. I don't. And we could have a great debate over if it is or isn't. And in this class, you sure get to have that opinion and run with it, right? My job is to make sure you do well-researched papers. And your beliefs are your beliefs. My job for everybody, right? Challenge them, and if I think you're using an iffy definition, whatever that might be, I'll bring it up because that's my job. Right? So I will end it at that.